Hey guys, welcome to another product showcase video. Today's product comes to us from SilenX. This is their Efizio low profile silent CPU cooler. Okay, let's have a look at the box itself. A nice colorful box. Information about the product itself: quietest noise level, greatest efficiency, superior performance, all things expected from SilenX products. This cooler is designed for use with a home theater PC case and other low profile cases, so it is a low profile design. Let's look at the specifications itself. This is 108 millimeters long, 105 millimeters wide, 67 millimeters high, and it uses a 100 millimeter fan. This weighs in at 364 grams. It is copper heat pipes with aluminum fins. The fan speeds are 1000 RPMs up to 2000 RPMs. Noise level is 8 decibels up to 24 decibels. Airflow is 22 to 54 CFM. Voltage is 5 to 12 volts. Current is 0.20 amps. Power is 2.40 watts, and this uses a fluid dynamic bearing. Okay, on to the compatibilities. This works on all of your modern Intel and AMD socket motherboards, from your Intel Celeron Ds up to your Core 2 Quads and Core 2 Extremes, all your LGA socket 775s, LGA socket 1156, LGA 1366, as well as a full line of AMDs, including the 939, the 940, AM2, AM2 Plus, and AM3. On the back of the box itself, we have little insignias here of all of the different processors that it does support, as well as information on the 3-year warranty that's provided by the product. Okay, on the side of the box itself, we have some pictures of the unit itself. The heat touch or direct touch heat pipe design that they use with this. It does use 3 heat pipes and aluminum fins. It has the optimal fan blades for the greatest air to noise ratio, which you would expect from the SilenX fans themselves. They're wonderfully quiet and move a ton of air. And this also comes with one of their universal mounting systems, the universal backing plate on it. So let's open up the box and see what it comes with. Okay, inside the box itself you get the cooler itself, the quick installation guide that'll explain to you what all the different components are in the packages they give you, as well as how to install it onto different socket styled motherboards. You get the 100 millimeter thin fan that comes with it to maintain that low profileness for the cooler. It comes with a fan controller, which is always nice. This is the universal backing plate for it, with the markings on it for the different socket styles to tell you where to line up the bolts for it. This is our AMD mounting plates and bolts and nuts. This would be for your AMD K8, AM2, AM2 Plus, and AM3 style motherboards. And this packet here would be our Intel mounting stuff for your 775, 1156, and 1366 style motherboard. Also in this bag they include 4 anti-vibration mounts for the fan itself, some fiber washers to use on the back of your motherboard to keep the bolts from making contact with the motherboard, and they also include some double-sided tape to be able to mount that fan controller inside your case or to the side of your case, as well as all the hardware you need to mount that on all of them Intel style boards. So let's set this stuff aside and have a closer look at the cooler. Okay, the cooler itself has a beautiful aluminum fin design, well soldered to the copper pipes. Doesn't feel flimsy like it would easily bend. I think you could, really put quite a bit of force on these without bending or squishing the fins on it. Very nice cross heat pipe design with the 3 heat pipes. I believe these are all 6mm heat pipes on it. It comes with the Intel mounting bracket already installed. If you're going to be mounting this onto an AMD board, you will have to use them other mounting brackets that I showed you in the bag itself. Let's peel off the protection here so you can get a better look at the base itself. Nice machined base on it. There's no signs of machining marks on it. Very smooth finish and a direct heat pipe design for great cooling efficiency. I have to say I'm quite impressed with how small this is. As far as low profile, this is tiny. And I love the idea that they include the super thin fan with it also. This is their own fan design. So it's designed to move a lot of air without using a large, like 120mm fan, and it's also able to do it in a very small package so that you can mount the fan to it without adding a lot of height to your case. As you can see, it maybe comes up to about my knuckle. It is not very tall at all. Maybe if you're using this in a home theater type case, you're not overclocking it or doing anything like that, you may be able to use it just as a radiant cooler without even installing the fan, just because of the nice copper heat pipe design and the way the fans are set up. It's going to do a lot of radiant cooling, so if you have airflow through your case as it is, it may be just fine the way it is. But if you are working with a case that maybe doesn't have great airflow or what have you, you certainly can mount the thin fan onto it and still fit that in about any home theater PC case that you could find. I've yet to see one that's going to be, narrower than that is. So let's get on to some benchmarks on this. Let's mount it onto our Gigabyte Socket 775 motherboard and see how this compares to a stock Intel Socket 775 CPU cooler. Okay, for our temperature test, we're going to use the Gigabyte motherboard with the Intel D820 CPU running on a Socket LGA 775 motherboard. This is the stock Intel cooler that's on here. We did install it with the SilenX thermal compound to make sure it's a fair test. They'll all be using the same compound, so we can't say there's any unfair advantage that way. So on the base test at idle, our ambient temperature is 65 degrees Fahrenheit. We're looking at about 40 to 41 degrees on the stock cooler. We're going to start prime 95 and let this warm up for a while and see what kind of temperature it gets up to. Okay, with the stock Intel cooler, we've been running prime 95 on this one for a while. We're seeing temperatures around 62 to 63 degrees running prime 95 on both cores. So we're going to shut this down and switch over to the SilenX cooler and see what kind of temperatures we get with that. Okay, just in case you have never installed a fan on one of the SilenX coolers, I wanted to demonstrate just how simple they are to install. They come with this rubber anti-vibration mount, and on the coolers themselves is a round slot that basically you just push these rubber grommets into. You slide it down in there, and now once you have all of them mounted onto the cooler, you can just set the fan onto these rubber grommets and basically just pull them through. You just want to pull them up until they lock into place. Just like that. So you just go along and do all 4 of them and just do it the same way. You just pull them right up through until you have them all locked on there. Okay, we're just preparing our backing plate to get ready to mount on the motherboard, and I just wanted to show you how easy this is to set up. If you can see the notches themselves for the different types of CPUs, there's different socket styles, I should say. Each one of the bolts itself has like two little wings in it. And basically you pick where the slot is you want, like in our case 775 is all the way in. You put the bolt in and you just kind of turn it a little bit and it'll fall right into the notches, and that'll help hold it in place, and then you can just put a nut on to hold it down. It's just that simple. And that's going to securely mount it to the motherboard itself. But just to give you an idea of how easy the mounting system is, it's a piece of cake to put together. You can mount one of these in probably 2 minutes, and it's going to be a lot more secure than your push pin style mounts. So I think they really went the extra mile with giving you a nice backing plate, large variety of hardware to fit the different socket styles. But we're going to mount this on here and check the temperatures. Okay, we have it installed now. I also installed the included fan controller with it, so we can try it at low fan setting as well as high fan setting. We're sitting on idle right now with the lowest fan setting, and seeing a temperature of about 36 Celsius. So we'll crank the fan up to high and see what the idle temperature will do. Okay, sitting idle at the desktop with the fan at 100% all the way up. We're seeing around 30 to 31 degrees. So we're going to do a load test and launch Prime 95 and see what the temperatures do once we crank it up. Okay, we've been running Prime 95 for a while on it, and this is on the lowest fan setting. So at this setting you can't even hear the fan running. And we're seeing about 56 degrees, a very nice improvement over the stock cooler. Let's crank the fan up to high and see how well it performs. Okay, with the fan running at 100% and Prime 95 running 100% on both cores, we're looking at a temperature of about 50 degrees. Very impressive for a small little low-profile cooler. That's every bit as well as some of the bigger coolers I've seen perform on this same setup. So for something for a home theater or for a low-profile type case, this is an excellent choice. That's going to do it for this product showcase. We want to thank SilenX for providing it for our showcase. Once again, this is their PZO low-profile silent CPU cooler designed for use with home theater PCs. So I want to thank them and thank you for watching.